Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of the Spiritual Evolution Podcast. I'm your host, Andrea, and I'm so pumped to share this episode with you guys. It was amazing. This episode was so incredible to record, and there's going to be many more with the amazing guest I had, Caity. You may know her as Raising Your Vibe, and I'm just so pumped to share this with you guys, so let's get right into it. I hope you enjoy and have an amazing, amazing day. Give you a little background on like your journey, if you want to just talk about what you to like an activist in the spiritual community, like kind of what you called to it.
I don't know that it was. I don't know that it necessarily feels like a calling.
Mm-hmm.
Is that bad? Is that bad to say that?
No. Everybody has a journey.
I don't have this same idea that a lot of spiritual teachers on TikTok or have. I'm not going to and tell anybody from this constellation or I have this or I'm this kind of starseed or I'm this worker. No, I just had my own experiences. They led me to see injustices in the world. They led me to see how powerful and we all are. And from there, I kind of just felt that not even just so it was my responsibility, just wanted to speak out about it. I did.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's helpful for people to see that like it's okay to speak your mind, and it does make a difference when you speak your mind, and you will make an impact and like raise the vibration, regardless if it's just like just doing it yourself. You're raising the vibration of the collective because we make up the collective. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we did get some good content yesterday, so I'll put in the beginning like of the talked about yesterday too. I'll add it in, so you don't have to repeat any of that. Yeah, so my next question would be how you go about like, thing like from energy harvesting or energy manipulation. Have you like thought about that at all, or just like even just I personally like I like to shield my phone and like my devices. I think it's very helpful. But is there anything you've thought like had any intake on that at all?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, my experience was a little bit different, right? There's so much around about how to protect our own energies, how to cleanse this and that, how to use these crystals or burn these types of. I just kind of have my own way of doing it. I just don't let to me when I talk about negative energies that are affecting or trying to affect my energy, it's not that it's not like that. It's not like cleansing my phone, worried about something coming to my phone. No, there's this tea in my room that is literally trying like physically and mentally drain me.
Right.
So I defend myself against that. Well, I just learned to not fear them. The only way that any of these negative entities in any form, even other people, even like people, the only way that anybody has any control over you or the ability to manipulate you or the ability to make you feel about anything or put you in lower vibration is by you allowing fear. You're giving consent to it, right? When you
agree to it,
you're giving consent. I don't give consent to anything taking my energy from me. And I guess I'd say if I feel like anything is like if I feel like a person, for example, trigger me or somebody is like intentionally trying to bring me down. Yeah. I recognize what they're doing. And then then me being like upset and sad about I see what you're doing. I need to go burn and protect myself. No, it's like I see what you're doing and it's really fortunate that you feel the need to do that. It's not going to work. And I've to 2 people in the past week that literally were manipulating me intentionally. And I said, that's not going to work with me. Like, do you know who I am yet? That's not going to work. And they were like, well, but I'll still try. Like, wouldn't you commend me trying? And I'm like, no, I would not try. I don't think there's anything proud of to manipulate somebody else. Like, well, are you mad at doing it? Like, mad is not the word. I'm not giving you any of my time or attention.
Exactly.
You don't get my emotion. I'm sorry, you don't. Do I think it's disgusting that you feel do that to others? Yes. But this is where the conversation ends. You don't get to manipulate me. If you want a friend, I'll be a friend. If you want to go to Walmart. I'm not.
Yes.
Work.
Yes.
When the negative entities show up and are trying to bring me down, I'm just like, aren't you guys tired? Like, don't you already know what come here? I'm not afraid. I'm not going to fear you. Literally nothing you can do. You can't touch me. You can't hurt me. You can no longer. They used to throw things across the room, slam doors. They used to choke me, push my head on my pillow. They used to have a lot more control over me. And through experiencing that my entire life, I no longer fear it.
Intention. You have your own, like, setting it with just your intention. You don't have to.
Yeah, they just can't. It's like I'm too aware. I'm too conscious aware. The second that I feel that tugging on my energy, like something, I'm like, no, excuse me.
Right. Like, it's almost like laughable because it's like, do you get it yet? Like, you know who I am? Like, you know, and especially when you go through things like that over and over and over in your lifetime from my age. I mean, I have experiences, but it wasn't to that extreme, I would say, with so much things being stuff like that's really something that is going to teach you, you know, either teach you that you can stand up and hold your own sovereign energy and you have that power and take that power back, or like, you know, it can be really detrimental. So, and I think to be sharing these stories because a lot of people will feel alone going through stuff like that.
I did a live last night talking, and somebody was like, I need your help. Like, I get stuck in sleep paralysis every time I want to go to bed. Or I'm being like heavily attacked by like demonic things, right? And it's no different. Like your consciousness, it's no different. Like that is a spiritual attack that exists. That can exist in any state. Right. So the fact that you're asleep doesn't change anything. This is real, right? And we were talking about this, and like there was one person alive who was calling me a schizophrenic, and I I'm like, you know what? The fact that you don't have to experience this. Oh shoot! Or hold on. Sorry. The fact that you don't have to experience what we're talking about is a blessing. Like I'm glad you don't know what we're talking about. I would rather you call me schizophrenic and you not to ever have to experience what we're saying than for you to go through it.
To understand it.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. I don't. It makes no difference to me what label you give it.
Right. It's words. I mean,
too many people go through it. Too many people on this planet know exactly what spiritual attack is. They don't know what to call it, right? The demons and aliens, or they do, like there's everybody trying to point to what exactly it is, but so many people do experience it.
Right, and I think it's become more as, you know, the ascension or whatever is happening with the planet and these solar flares and energetic, you know, like everything energetically has been very intense lately. So I think that a lot of people are going through these things that haven't been going through it and haven't experienced it until like recently, especially all the time that people have been forced to be alone and be with their own shit. So I think that that's an effect on especially dream states and stuff. So people are finally seeing that, like, they have to protect their energy, but I think it's a matter of standing in your power and like not allowing that fear to take hold. It really you're 100% right.
Well, absolutely grasping at straws at this point. You know, and there's so many different takes to even just the spiritual community, if you want to call it that. So many different takes on what exactly that means in our lives. Like I've literally had people also come to me and be like, those demons, those entities, they're not, that's just you. You're doing that to yourself. Like you're holding yourself back. And I'm like, no, I was 3 years old and I had demons in my bedroom speaking to me. Like you, again, yes, you can have attachments that you pick environmentally that mentally mess with you, that create that distorted way of thinking because of your environmental. That's not what I'm talking about. You don't have to believe that there are other beings or other entities around us, but there are. It's not.
Mm-hmm. It's
I don't know.
There's no opinions about it. You can't the only things like there, it's like the universe is a very fucking vast, and like we know idea, like we, and it's like people are questioning it because it's uncomfortable. It's very uncomfortable to like think the unknown and that we are all there, and that we don't know everything, and don't like that. People, especially like with the way we've become like so reliant on labels and everything else, like this conditioning. I think it's become very that we get back to like our roots and to our connection to the planet and each other, and not focused on like what the name of that religion is, or what I mean, like that belief system. Because at the end of the day, we're all gonna have different experiences, so we're all going to have a different belief system, even if we say all this, like, even if we all go to church, all these people, they're all having a different life experience. When I was younger, I would go to church and I'd be like, but isn't there a religion for everybody? Because everybody has a different mindset and perspective. Because all I knew was religion. I didn't understand the reality because I was so young having these thoughts. And it's like, people don't see that we all have a different life experience, but we all are going to the same place at the end of the day. We're all headed for this on top, like this, just on different paths. And all of these different religions have kind of become corrupted, obviously, and misinterpreted and lost information. So I think it's upsetting. It's like there's good points and there's good ideas, but it's like people take it and they misconstrue it for their own gain, like with how the Bible has been changed and they took out all those books. And I want to talk to you about all that.
Yeah, just like I'm literally
later on.
I'm putting together a 10 series. That's why I keep like budging that in there.
I completely get that.
Because I'm a 10-part series on division, and yes, I agree with you. I made a post about us being a multiverse, not in a multiverse, like we literally are a multiverse. Because
yes,
I can be Christian, believe that I'm going to heaven, and guess what? When I die, I might actually go.
Because I believe it.
Different paths, and there are so many different. Like it's just there is no way. Truth is not synonymous with. There is no one singular truth.
Right.
Here's the problem. Organized religion has caused and created so much division to the point where we're looking at other people and saying, you're going to go to hell and you're going to die if you don't believe what I believe in.
And they really think they're helping people.
Believe that. Really, yeah. It's casting spells on others without even seeing it.
Right.
Because that's literally like where it all comes from, right? Our minds we are pieces of the collective conscious, which creates everything that we see here. So we're all casting spells on one another, we harm on one another. Like, I have the only one true religion. I'm going to go to heaven. And you're judging people and thinking you're not going to do well because you're worshiping the wrong thing. You're wishing on them.
Right.
It causes so much division, and we see it in everything. My 10-part series is going to break down everything, like social status, class, race, gender. Like I'm doing a part in every single one because I don't think that people really see it that way. I don't people see the heart, like the heart, and it's so hard because the number one thing that is taught in every single religion is the golden rule. That's universal. You treat one another with respect and love, and yet you can't look your fellow human in the eyes and be like, you're going to hell, going to heaven, and I'm a better person than you because I'm my God Yahweh and you call your God Allah.
Right.
That's not following that golden rule.
Exactly. It's a complete contradiction.
We need to find a middle ground where we can respect one another's own beliefs without thinking it's going to be the demise or downfall of anybody else.
Right. And because it's not that piece was pieced in for fear. Like that was something they really like kind of made into something, like they took everything kind of missed it so that they could instill fear and like make people want to follow a certain way, and obviously division. They want it because it helps them gain control. But I think people are finally starting to see that like there's not just one way. It's like that's so like minded to me, and I think people are hopefully finally starting to see it, and it's really important for us to like be able to see that everyone has a perspective, and that's what makes the world a beautiful place. Like that's what makes it fucking awesome. You know. Let's see what other questions we have here. How have you healed and worked with some of your speaking of fear?
I screamed, I cried, I slept a lot. I don't know.
No, yeah, everyone's process.
It just got to such a place in such a state that I like no longer was willing to participate in life in any way, shape, or form if it didn't stop. So we had to end, or I was not going to be here anymore. And so I don't know. I just did.
Purged it.
Through it. I had to go through it. I had to go through it and look it in the face and be like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tired. Aren't you tired? Not doing
yeah, and
I'm just saying to say, and I really don't fear anything. It's problematic, I'm sure.
I mean, I think it's important to be able to have like that's inspiring for people to see that like somebody that's been through something so like difficult comes out of it in a way where you can stand up for not only yourself but every single other person that is living in fear right now, and maybe help step out of that, and step into their power a little more every time they see, you know what I mean, like social media or wherever. It does, like the smallest thing makes a difference, and we don't even realize how many lives that we touch every single day that we don't even know they're seeing us, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Sometimes even hearing someone else's bad situation, like how I went through a bad situation, it's like almost relieving, because especially when it comes to spiritual attack, like the other night, there's no person, there's nothing that exists on the planet that could possibly save you from it. I that a lot of suicide has to do with spiritual attack. There is nowhere to turn. A lot of mental illness has to do with spiritual attack, because there's nowhere to turn. There's nobody can help you. Nobody can save you.
Except yourself.
You have to do it yourself. And I mean, yeah, you have a few options. You can medicate or become a drug addict or try and numb it away. That usually only makes it worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's not anybody that can save you if you're
not. There's not a quick fix either. There has to be like you have to be willing to put in the work to like go through it, and there's no getting over something like that is gonna make you stronger at the end of the day. But it's a matter of being able to like see that you can get through it by seeing that other people have made it through to the other side. And for me personally, like, when I was going through it 10 years ago, there wasn't anything for me to like, and I felt like very alone. You're about the same age as me. So the social media aspect, and that caused us to be a little bit more of a warrior mentality though, and gives us that little more of a backbone so that we can be the leaders, like the spiritual, pioneers to be time of like uncertainty and kind of a little bit of chaos.
I literally just stopped my life. Like I literally mean like I just dropped everything.
Yeah, I missed a month. I didn't go to school for a month.
I'm like, sorry, like just recently. Like I was last 2 years. I just haven't. Whatever I want. I completely stopped doing anything else. I literally fear, and it's such a controversial conversation to have, because so many people are like, well, you still have bills to pay. You still have, and I'm like, and they get paid. I always money. It's never an issue.
Yes, because you're living in that state of abundance, that state of receptivity and trust and faith in the universe and faith in your path.
It's just always there. It's never not going to be. It's a very controversial conversation to have, and like I do work I'm a hairstylist, but I do it when I want. I do my wedding season, right? So I do weddings on weekends. But I really don't doing anything else. I pretty much closed myself off to, and not in the way like I didn't cut people off, but I closed myself off to like everything that was surrounding me. None of it was benefiting me in any way. I came from through like a super dark situation, out of a relationship with a narcissist. And I don't have my own family. Literally just like friends and family kind of took on with him. I needed to step back and just like erase everything. And even my TikTok, it's not even that old. I think my TikTok is like maybe, I don't know, 6 months old.
Yeah, I know you just, yeah, when I found like when you found out, I was like super excited when I really loved your energy as soon as I saw you.
And I wanted to speak for a while, but I'm like, I can't speak things that I'm still figuring out. Unless I'm saying, like now, if I'm talking to you guys and I'm saying, you know, I'm working through this, but I need to be like completely entirely ready. And when everything was unplugged and I was just ready to speak and I had a lot to say, like my account, and I said, the second that I made my account, I told Mario, I told everybody, this will blow up because I actually feel like speaking now. I feel like talking. I feel like doing it. It's going to be inevitable because there's people that need to say, people that I need to connect with. I'm going to, it's inevitable. It'll happen.
I love that. Is amazing. Like that's beautiful. Like sentiment that you are able to like. It is. I've seen you and another person on recently, and like your messages are so powerful, and like the depth is there. The the connection is there because you've been through it and the experience is there. And I think that you just have one of those magnetic energies. Like I felt very to your energy because like you have such a good perspective on things, and every time I saw your videos I was like, yeah, so, like, this is exactly how I was feeling, like, but I didn't know how to figure it out. Like I'm so mad, overwhelmed with all of the injustice, like, and like when I saw those few videos you posted that like were people like were in the car and like were like welcome to Earth. I got full body chills like when I watch it. It's like it's so spot on, and it really it needs to be heard, and you do it in such a way where like you're doing it so like you have everything figured out, all your ducks are in a row, so to speak.
Like, put out that kind of information, right? Is like you said, you saw the injustice in the world. You don't want to see the injustice, and you don't want to sit in such a state of like anger and trust me, I get angry. Yeah. I do. I definitely do. You don't want to sit constantly in that state because that's not really a whole lot different than fear.
Fear, right? Exactly.
It's helping anything, like it's really not. So the only point to let people know that is to help them see in the first place. Like I'm just going to use Book of Thomas here as to reference, because it's like my all-time favorite line. And it says, at first, like when you first start to seek, you will find. When you find, you're going to be very troubled. So when you start looking for the truth, you're going to find it. You're going to be troubled. You're going to see the state of the world. You're going to be like, what the hell is going on here? Like, how is this allowed? And you're going to sit in that state for a while. It's going to feel really disgusting. You're going to be in a really unhappy place. From there, from being astonished, or from being you're going to become astonished, because you're going to start to understand that we are creating it. Something else is pushing it. We have manifested it. We have. It would not exist without our conscious thought and attention. It just
right. Collective agreement and
collective agreement. Yes. It's just such a scam because it's not even really an agreement, right? Like you can't agree on something when you don't know what you're agreeing. It's not really fair. When you don't know what the alternative is, it's like it's not really fair. But you can't.
You don't even know your options.
The only reaching that is so that you can be astonished. And once you're astonished, you rule over the all. You understand the rule over the all. So once you go through all of those stages, it's easy to see how we can all come together and create change. But most people are still in a place they haven't even started seeking yet.
Right.
So that's almost like the target audience a lot of the time. Videos like Welcome to Earth. I'm not talking to people like you necessarily that you already understood and you went through it. Like, yes, it's great to feel that you're not, but it's hitting that demographic between you and the people who just care to think about it at all. Those that are just starting to see, like, wait a minute, that's funny. Like, that's kind of weird. That's kind of peculiar.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And just like how we come into this new age of policies, and like I even like the other day, like I said, when I brought my son to the doctor, they weren't surprised. Like, a lot of kids aren't eating meat, and it's like they know, like they have a higher. I think as the years have gone on, like the generations coming in now are more have a better grasp on like where we need to be added and where we need to be focused on what we need to focus on doing to shift the paradigm, to raise the vibration of the collective, to show people how much more power they actually hold if they would just like see it. So yeah, let me see. What's another? I have one question about like the collective. Just how you would we can work together as a collective, like on a higher like person want to do an ocean cleanup with everybody, like with everybody I can get together, like from my TikTok and stuff, like someone and do an ocean cleanup with a bunch of people. Because that could be really like great, to like clean up a bunch of different like spots at different beaches every day or something with people from that come into my we went on a retreat last October with people, and it was really nice. But I've always wanted to help the environment. Like that's just my I really want to help save endangered species, stuff like that. And I think that there's different ways we can come together as or some realistic ways to come together. You know what I mean?
See, okay, so I've been trying to kind of think something like that too. Like, not necessarily, I wasn't as far ahead as you are. I was thinking about going to clean up the ocean or like for a like that. It was more so I've been talking about and thinking that like maybe next summer, and I would have to do it right away, plan it right away, so people have like a year's notice. Yeah. Maybe next summer or something. Actually have like a giant get together where everybody comes together and we're all focusing on the same thing. We're all kind of bringing in the same energy. I don't know about you. There's nobody here. Like there's literally nobody around here. It's not like I could just like get together and go meditate in the woods. No, it would be a year prep to do that because there's nobody around me. I haven't found them yet. So now my point, like where I'm at, I'm just still trying to wake people up. I'm still trying to find people. I'm still trying to expand where we're at.
Yes, I get that. I get that. Like I think way too far ahead. Where I'm like, I want to do all these different things. Like I want to have like some kind of festival where we can get people together to do like more kind of Caity, which was something Aubrey Mark did, which is like right after, like 3 months after I was talking about it. It was like he was doing basically the same thing. It's like you had to like do an application to get access to buy a ticket, and there was only 1,000 tickets available. So a very intimate festival with like some musicians and DJs, but also speakers, and they do like group breath work and stuff like that, and like different like collective healing stuff instead of just like on like a big thing like EDC where it's like partying. For me, like I was talking about something where it's more based on like group manifestation and like collective healing and stuff like that. But obviously that's like way down the line. I'm always curious to hear what people have to say about like getting together with each other, because it feels like everybody's like all over the place. Like I have one or two people that I'm still like close with, and only one, Avery, is like really spiritual, like me, and we like that's the only person I have, so that like I can meditate and stuff. So I want to be able to get together with people more and do more collective, work, even just like maybe Zoom. I don't know. I'm just spitballing like different ideas, but I understand it's a process. You have to, get the word out, and I think that's like a great. It's we have to start somewhere. So
yeah, because I was talking to girlfriend across the street, we tan together. A good friend, a good person, like not, we are not on the same, we don't have conversations very often, right? Not about anything aside from our kids play together, we tan together. That's about it.
Right.
And, anyway, I was telling her, I was like, I think that I'm just so ready to make friends. Like, it sounds so funny. It sounds so like, I don't know, childish or innocent or what, but like, I just think that I am. And I was like, I honestly think I'll find new friends. I think I'm going to do that. Because I did isolate myself for so long to get through like all my healing work and just getting to a place where I was like actually happy with myself. And I've never been so content in my life. And fulfilled. So I don't need friends because I feel lonely or because I feel insecure. I'm happy. I just think it'd be really, really fun. It'd be really fun to connect with more people that are like-minded, that want to have these conversations aside from TikTok, because and I do take a lot of breaks. I'm sure you notice that I don't post very often. I don't post every day. No, maybe 2 or 3 times every couple weeks.
Yeah, that's smart.
I just feel it gets draining, right? But I would definitely like connecting with more people, and I know that it's totally can happen. Like when I say there's nobody around me, I mean I haven't met anybody around me. Right. It doesn't mean there's not actually anybody in my city would want to talk about the same things as me. I'm sure there is.
I'm definitely like getting like tingles in my my wing, but it's in my it's my shoulder blade, and that's a confirmation. So there's about putting vibration you want, and so when you start out those vibes of like, where you're at now as compared to a couple of years ago or whatever, and now you've taken time, and I've taken this, like I've isolated, going to hermit mode and stuff, and then you see you start to bring in energies you want around you, and the kind of that you want, and you meet for the first time, you feel like you've known for kind of stuff like that. So yeah, it takes time, but it's always available. It's just a matter of claiming it.
And I really was not in any place. I didn't even have the energy. Before I meet up with somebody, would have just I'm not doing that. I'm sorry.
I totally get that.
And you can't because I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. It always does come to be like, even with Mario, I was going through so much at that time. It was like I had more answers. It was driving me crazy. And I'm like, you got to give me something. You got to give me somebody. It's happened. I fell asleep on it, and I found him 2 days later. Okay. And then it was really because we were
555.
All of the all of the things that I was missing that I needed to hear. He had those to make other things make sense for me, and I was like, okay, really, I can kind of demand what you need. I know
calling it in. Yes, it's just, especially letting the universe know you're ready. That's exactly what I was just gonna say. Letting you know you're ready, and also I like saying show me how good it can get. Love saying that in the mirror. It just feels like I try and do that as much as I can remember. So how do you go about reclaiming your power and energy after conditioning, social conditioning, reclaiming energy from conditioning from school, or friendships that damage you, stuff like that, social stuff. How do you go about reclaiming your energy with that?
Kind of go hand in hand with what we were talking about, the spiritual attacks. I don't think it's so much about reclaiming. It has a lot more to do with acknowledgement of what it is, right? So again, I don't know if you watched my early videos on my TikTok, but I did one on the victim and the judge where I'm talking about those are environmental conditioning that we picked up that we have a really hard time letting go of. So for example, if a friend is judging you, or if somebody is talking behind your back, or and it hurts you so bad, you think that it's about you, take that on, you feel inside maybe they're right about what they're saying. they're going to manipulate other people into believing it's about me. It takes stepping back and understanding that that literally has nothing to do with you. And anybody that's willing to sit and participate in that, and that anybody who is able to be manipulated in the way that they would look at you differently never knew who you were in the first place. So I don't know. I don't think it's so much about claiming my power. It's more so about, or maybe that's no word. I just don't physically do anything about it. Like I don't just understand what it is. I sit with it for a minute.
Yes. That awareness, that like becoming conscious of something that's the first step. It can be the only step once you have that ability to just be like, all right, cut.
Or somebody does trigger me and I sit there for and I will be like really angry or really upset at first, and then I'm like, you just breathe through this for like the next 2 minutes, and then you're gonna realize that it's not even a big deal. Like, you need to chill the hell out. Right. And I'll sit with it and I'll breathe through it and I'll think about why it upset me in the place. Okay, why? There's very few things left to trigger me with, and I know exactly what they are. Very few things left to trigger me with, and when I'm triggered with them, I know exactly where they stem from. I know exactly where they're coming from. I know why it really upsets me, and then I kind of work through that and be like, okay, but you know that this and that is true, and you know that, like, so why are you letting somebody have upper hand on you? Not really like they had the opportunity to take my power and then I reclaim it. Just as somebody was trying to do it, I recognized what was going on, and before I woke up and reacted, before I chose to do that, I stopped myself. I tell everybody too, and nobody likes to hear it. Having an emotional reaction to things does not serve you in any way, shape, or form, and your emotions are not what you think. Emotions are not what you think they are.
What do you mean by that?
They just aren't. Like, you know, people think that every emotion has a good purpose that's serving. Maybe in one or another they might. But when you allow yourself to, like, for example, how do I say this?
Well, it does give energy. You're giving your energy to someone or something by getting them to react.
I mean, if you give yourself too much to your emotions, you're either going to be sitting and crying all the time, which changes nothing, or like I have a very outlook on empathy, like compared to others. I don't want anybody's empathy. I don't. I want people that are going to help me out of my mess. I want to be a martyr. I don't want someone to sit and cry with me forever. Yeah. I don't think that helping in the same way is helping somebody stand up and get back on their feet and be like, you're a tough bitch. Like, get up.
Yes.
Like, had you cry? Are you feeling better? Like, smack on the, okay, come on, let's go. Like, get up. Emotion too long, or to sit in your emotion for too long, that's where the emotional reactions come from. That's why people are trying by everything. Right? The world looks the way it is. That's why everybody is, you have to validate me and respect me, and I say I'm this, I get to be this, and I get to be whatever I want because I, when it's like, why do you need validation for that to be the case? Just go do it.
Right.
To validate. Do you know what I mean? Do you know
Absolutely. And it's like, it brings up a point for me that because I cried so much in my past relationship with with a narcissistic, person, and I got, out of the relationship, left the state, and had my son and stuff. I didn't want to cry anymore for him. I didn't want any more energy. But then I realized, like, when I did cry, it was for me, and I'm sure, like, of that, so it was a release for myself to really finally, like, just release it and let my feelings be felt. But it being for him, it was like it was in front of him, obviously, shit like that. But like, I was by myself. I was feeling like I used to hold back. I never cried for like the time before him because I was very, like, didn't want to feel emotions and, like, bottled up my shit. And then I was just more angry. And then, like, when I dated him, cried and then I didn't ever want to, and that really, by letting myself cry for my own for my own release, kind of helped me get a better perspective on emotions. But it's not about like crying every day, or letting myself get stuck in being upset about. It's just letting myself feel those emotions and not shaming myself or judging myself for feeling any emotion.
No, there's obviously nothing wrong with feeling them. You just can't let them be your driving force.
Right.
You're right. You have to go through them. You can't just around them and then that they don't matter. Everything is going to trigger you.
Yeah.
But everything has the ability to pull an emotional response from you. Then that just shows you that those emotions are sucking the power out of you,
controlling you, and
giving your power away.
In fact, absolutely.
And again, I'm not saying anything about you shouldn't cry. I had to freaking cry for like an entire year. I had to cry every day an entire year and like let it all out and scream and like I told you,
purging,
whatever. But holding certain emotions is just not going to serve you.
No, I completely agree. And a lot, like you said, to be your driving force. Like I'm like people do allow emotions to become like the reason whatever and what they can trigger or can't move on or whatever. And it's holding on and harboring. That's holding a grudge, like that. It's harboring, and it's the same as battling your emotions up. It's just that. It's just a different version of your emotions controlling you. There's definitely a fine line of like feeling them. Yeah. What would you say if you had the entire world's attention for 1 minute?
You know what? I saw that question and I knew I was like, probably think about this before.
Take your time.
Before we get here, I asked a really good question last night in my live. I was like, if you could ask one question and get an absolute definite answer, only one question though, to like the one you would most pick, what would it be? Got some interesting answers to that. Anyways,
I like that. No, I really like that. I'm writing that down.
People would ask. I think most people would ask about existence or the purpose of existence.
Yeah.
That's kind of where that was going. But if I could tell everybody everything, it kind of depends. It depends. So I get to speak to everybody in the world, but are they actually going to hear me? Or is it as they are? Everybody is right now. I get to tell them one thing.
Yeah. I would say, yeah.
I'd probably tell everybody how powerful they are, and like try to actually have them understand. If there was one lesson I could teach, that it would just be that, because that's the only thing that's gonna make any difference. Honest to God.
Right. It would almost be nice if we could like demonstrate through like a collective of like 50, energy healers that have actually done the work, like that are like, and actually show collective manifestation happening like in real time, like telekinesis or whatever, like, or telepathy, because we could. Oh my God, I'm chills. Like that, and demonstrating it. That's what people don't believe until they, and that's what it is. Like it's hard. Some people do, but even my friend was, you don't like, you think you do, but like when you see it, you shifts your perspective every time you do something without like even once I stopped asking for it, once I stopped asking for the signs, like that is when it all like in, and like the more you see, the more you believe, and then the more you believe, the more you see. It's like
problem with every and they're to understand manifestation. It's like you're not chasing what you're doing is you are chasing a desire, and you're literally chasing it. It's going to continue to run away from you because you're literally chasing it. The only way I actually came to terms of understanding what manifestation was, it wasn't anybody else. It wasn't read anywhere. It wasn't any special tips or magic tricks, writing it on my arm, putting it under my pillow, or thinking about it before bed. No, I literally just stopped caring. I stopped trying to manifest. I literally said, because I understood I have a different take again on what everything is, probably than you even. So when I talk to universe, as you say, I'm not talking to universe. I believe believe that my inner self, my inner being already is like I'm creating everything. And it's just responding to me and based on what I want. So I literally just said, I was like, I don't need to manifest anything because you know exactly what I want to see in my life. Like I don't need to sit and be like, please, 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 give me this person. Please, please, please let this work out for me. Please, please, please let me be able to pay my bills. No, those are all necessities. I understand what they are. I just believe that it's all going to be there. And I've been surprised so many ways. The first day that I did, I woke up the next morning and I was just like, I'm going to go have the best day. I went to work. I ended up meeting these tattoo artists and they were freaking awesome. They ended up like, oh my God, trade services, like tattoos for hair and whatever. Like, yeah, we got along so that they were literally like, we're looking for part-time receptionists at my studio and at her studio. Like, if you ever want a job, like just to come hang out. They showed me the interview, like, or put out to looking tired of me. And it was like, must be crazy, must be good talking to others, must have a really good playlist, be responsible for music, must be extremely outgoing, must like tattoos, obviously. And I'm like, yeah, I would want to just come hang out with you, even if I wasn't getting paid. That'd be fun. Mm-hmm. So anyway, that day went great. They ended up paying me cash. They gave me a huge tip. Going to my next job. That job was freaking amazing. The brand was lovely. Got a huge tip there too. I'm leaving jobs and I'm like, thank you. This was a really good day. Now I'm gonna go chill by myself and whatever. And I pick up my phone. My sister-in-law, she's a makeup artist, also works for my company for Blush, for like subcontractors. So we work for ourselves, but through she sent me a link, and it was for like one of my all-time favorite artists. They were tickets. 2 tickets.
Love her.
Me 2 tickets for $55 to see her concert. Night. And I was like, okay, yeah. I'm like, okay, buy them. I'm like, yes, let's go. And she didn't see it in 5 minutes. And I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna message this person. Like, I don't care who they are. I'm gonna message them anyway. And I messaged them and I want to buy these from you. And they're like, yep, send the money here. I'll send you the tickets. They sent the tickets. And then I'm just like sitting there in my car and I'm like, my favorite artist is here and I'm going to see tonight. And I've had the best thing of my life. And I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask to go see Jessie Reyes. I didn't ask to meet tattoo artists. I didn't have to specifically manifest because my inner being knows exactly what I want to see in my world. And as long as I stay in that high vibration, I'm going to constantly attract those things. And I do. I don't stress about bills. I don't stress about a lot of money. I never. If I'm down to like my couple $100 in my bank account and I see that, if something in my brain wants to go, oh, we didn't pay our TELUS bill or whatever, right? Whatever, there'll be more money there. We'll pay it tomorrow. And then I'll wake up like an extra $300. Oh, it just always comes from somewhere. I don't know how to explain. I don't ever allow myself to stress about anything. And people are like, oh, stress is good. Stress pushes you to do better. Oh, you're toxically positive because you're trying to only see things in a good light. Like, no, just understand what I'm saying. You'll go through your own motion of finding it eventually in this life or the next. You're going to figure it out. But no, I don't need stress in my life. No,
I can see how your higher self is already knows what your highest potential is. Your higher self already knows what your highest, life is. So if you just allow it and stop chasing and just allow it to come to you and just say, here you come, here's, like, I'm going to ask for it now. I'm going to open up to receiving from the universe instead of, like, well, not ask for it, but just say, like, I'm going to have a good day. I'm going to claim it instead of asking. Today's a good day, and then worrying about how it's going to be a good day, but just allowing it to be a good day because I know that my higher self already knows what the best day is for me. And it's fucking insanely incredible.
Yeah, it's great, but like I understand you. I was thinking about this one day. I'm like, okay, because I was a big time worrier. Like I was and I'd stress and I'd be like, okay, writing down like this money, these bills, and this has to get done, and this I can't miss this appointment, and this needs to be done, and like I would like hyper fixate, like when was my last oil change, and like I would really worry and stress about all these things. Or, let's say I had a client or I had something going on that made me a little bit anxious, I would be like running through my head, like, how is this conversation? What am I going to do about this? And I would literally cause my own problems. And then after I would be done that job or whatever, the interview, whatever I was doing that I was anxious about, I would look back and be like, all that I felt the day before, only the day before, it did not change anything today. Sitting and stressing about it did not change. And I'm not saying you can never take action on things. Sitting and dwelling on something that you have the ability to change, literally just ruining the in the moment. It's just making you feel terrible for absolutely no reason.
Yes, and I heard this quote the other day that if we're not climbing, we're sliding, meaning if we're like, putting in action to something or like to being our best selves, then and we become complacent. We don't realize it, but we're actually like a little bit like sliding down a little bit back into like old habits without even realizing it if we're not working toward evolving and being our best self. And when we see ourselves getting back into those habits, it's that awareness. If you become conscious of every time you start to become anxious about something, like asking yourself why, like really, and it's hard to that habit, but you start to see and become aware of all the little things that you worry about on a daily basis, and see how, like you said, like become in hindsight, see 2020 how ridiculously like silly it was to let yourself waste all that time and that energy working your body up. It changes over time. You become aware of it and we're asking and getting to the root of why I'm anxious about this in the first place.
Yeah. And here's another thing about meditation that most people don't think. Nobody is actually, okay, so we say that we're trying to manifest a house or trying to manifest a car, manifest money, or trying to manifest love, or trying to manifest a new whatever, new shoes, going to a concert. No, you're not actually trying to manifest any of those things. What you're trying to manifest is something that feels good. It's not that thing. It's the feeling you get because of that thing that you're chasing. I think you want money because you feel better when you don't worry about money, right? You're chasing security. You're chasing love. You're chasing comfort. You're not chasing a boyfriend. You're not chasing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
And so you can set that aside. It helps you to get to that state of being grateful for what you have now, because you will never ever be able to manifest if you can't have gratitude for what you already have now. You never ever, because again, when you manifest, you are trying to bring in a better feeling, raise your vibration. You just have to do it through what you think is going to be the most fun way.
Right? Yes, and putting out that desire is right to fear. Like, it's not higher on that emotional scale. I mean, this one, because it kind of like changed my perspective. I was like, yeah, that's like, desire isn't really where you want to be. Like, you want to be in a state of love, gratitude, and receptivity, and it's all knowing that I'm grateful for what I have. The universe sees I'm not taking it for granted, so I know that it's going to continue to bless me with more, and it don't have to be how.
Yes and no. Yes, it is kind of that, but also I just think you are never going to be able to reach a vibrational state. Like, even if, let's say, you end up falling on money, you're still not going to receive from that meditation what you think you did. You're still not going to be happy. That money is not going to
fix
make
everything.
you happier. If you weren't happy here, you're going to be happy here. You're not going to be happy here. It's a state of mind. Heaven is a state of mind. Happiness is a state of mind. It's not something that you're going to find in anything physical.
No, anything
you can
external.
find it in everything physical if you already found it.
Right. Absolutely. Seeing we are everything and at the same time, and that's what the universe like and is. How you said, like, we are a multiverse. Like, it's insane to think about how much compacted in our people and how much energy is actually like flowing through us right now. Like, we do have so much power and energetic force, especially together. Like, that's really something that I really love about your message is the power we have as a collective. And I think that there's we're only beginning. Like, I think this is the beginning.
I just have to do it in so many different ways, right?
Right. And it's about, and it's amazing because I love how everyone has a different perspective and experience. So it's like everyone has who they're gonna resonate with, and like people who resonate with you more than they resonate with me. And then if we all come together, we can all learn something from each other. You know, like and that's what's nice too, is so many people are more open-minded to hearing other people's experiences, perspectives without judging it or needing it to be different, and being able to see that like we don't have to all have the same ideas, because if we did, the world wouldn't be very, very fun. It'd be pretty.
There would be no free will. We all did the same thing, if we thought the same thing. Robots. That.
Right. It wouldn't, like, I don't, it wouldn't really be the point. So the last question I usually ask, because I'm gonna, that we're about halfway through, so I'm gonna put a line here, and then the question I usually ask is, what does spiritual evolution mean to you?
Spiritual evolution. In a personal aspect?
Yes, for you, yeah.
Spiritual evolution. So I use the analogy all the time of, I use the ladder as one example, right? It's like we're climbing a ladder, and you can't really get to this place until you overcome this one. Or the other analogy uses like the Russian dolls, right? Like we're just breaking through different layers of like a box inside a box inside a box. It's like a trap inside a trap inside a trap until you free yourself from all of those. And there's an awful lot. So I think it is just the progression of coming to new levels of understanding what you are. I think it's very personal, and I know we do Gnosticism another day, but that'll definitely come up then, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to talk about that, because being raised and like sent to school and being raised like going to church all the time and all of that, it's very intriguing to me, and like I really feel like it's helped with my religious healing stuff, like learning that a lot more to it than what they've kind of washed and told us. And I think it's important for people to see that like there's no, like, Jesus wasn't necessarily a bad person, and like he didn't ask for like a religion, you know, stuff like that. But there's always like three sides to the story, right? And I feel like there's a lot more to it now that like different people have
written.
Yeah. So I think that everybody's kind of evolving in their own way from, you know, because a lot of people are raised in religion from our generation. We were raised in some sort of religious background. People that I met along my journey, and a lot of people are saying that like there's not only one way.
So I think I understand your question a little bit better. I didn't know. So I believe we're all going to leave and do this individually. So like when you look at different religions, when you look at different thing talks about like an Armageddon, there's going to be the end of the world, there's going to be a new earth, a new beginning, a new, like everyone's going to know the truth kind of thing. But I think that is very, very personal, hand in hand with Gnosticism, right? Like I think that at the end of my journey, and I think that a lot of people right now nearing the end of their journey for themselves here, right? So like I believe that this is probably my life. I don't think that I'm going to come back. I think that I've kind of, and this is why I say this. So if I read the Bible, look into the message of Jesus, if I look into any ancient text, see same truths in different places, and they speak to me, like the Book of Thomas, I truly mean when I know what he's saying. Like it's not that I can speak in English words. It's so far beyond that. But it's like I woke up to a dream and understood what this place is, and understood what I was doing and what came of it. And I also understand that I can't take anybody else with me, and I can't make anybody else come with me, and not everybody else is going to want everybody else will at their own time come to their own level of understanding and then transcend on to whatever comes next.
New beginning. That's interesting, because now I just had this thought where it's like, instead of it being like a new beginning or a new thing on earth, it's more like you said, like your last life here, and you're kind of like transcending from the reincarnation process or to beginning on, what I'm saying, on another level. Like, it's, people take it so literally, and I think there's more to it. Like, I think it can be taken more metaphoric, like where it's gonna have a necessarily like a brand new earth and everything's gonna be broken down, which things are shifting, but it could be like you said, for personal ascendance into a new beginning of your own on another dimension.
This conversation can go very, very deep, because I can, like, at the same time as wanting to bring in Gnosticism, I also want to pull in psychedelics. I want to pull in that experiences where, again, it's all hearsay. Everybody can have their own opinion on what I have to say, but I have met other beings. I had this giant revolution one day, and I'll go into detail when we talk about psychedelics. I had this giant revolution about what death was on psychedelics, and it was my cousin, and we were in a room together, and my friend was there, and all of a sudden everything went blank of me, like everything went black, and it was literally like I was laying in a coma or in a coma, and something else was speaking to me, other things were speaking to me and telling me, like, you figured it out, you understand what it is, there is no need for you to stay. If you want to leave. And I panicked, like I literally felt like my soul was being ripped out of my body, like I was not tethered here anymore. It's messed up, because I had asked and asked and asked and asked for a very long time about that kind of thing, and it was literally like, it felt like my family. Like, it was like, we love you, we miss you, like, you can leave now, you fucking, like, you woke up to
Oh my God.
And I've had more than one time where I've had these downloads that are just like, they're not normal downloads. It hits me, and it's like, it's waking up. Like, oh my God, but I knew this. I knew
Right.
this.
I remember
something, and it's messed up. And like I said, I'm not going to say that I came from this constellation. I don't even believe that it's like that. I look at everything dimensional, not here, there. I like here. It's all stacked. It's like different dimensions are stacked, and yeah, I don't know.
I completely understand that. I'm excited to get all of that. Absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for enjoying this episode and sharing your energy with us today. I just had a blast speaking with this beautiful woman, and I can't wait to share more of our ideas with you guys and to join forces together to make this world a better place. Love you guys. Have a great day.